huge thick end. It's a real kind of meat cleaver style broadsword. In this video I'm going to be talking all about the 9 ring broadsword we have for sale at Enso Martial Arts. I'm going to talk about some of the ideas of why this sword exists in the way it does. So therefore, maybe a little bit of a history, but made up history. I'm going to talk about all of its features, who would use this, and at the end, I'll put together a short montage of people training with broadswords. Hi, my name's Doug Swift. I've been doing martial arts for the past 33 years and the owner of Enso Martial Arts for the past 16 years. If you like this video, click the little icon, subscribe to this channel and get all the latest videos and updates from Enso Martial Arts. So let's get into this video and learn all about the 9 ring broadsword we have for sale at Enso. As broadswords go, this is a pretty wacky looking broadsword. It's, you know, the main feature on it is that it's got these 9 rings all the way along the back of the blade. Now this is pretty unusual, but in Chinese martial arts you do get lots of things with rings attached into them that don't seem to have that much purpose. So a lot of the time you do get them on the bottom of guandaos. You do see them looped on the end of like certain weapons, like that just seem to jangle around, especially if there's a loop on the end, like pudaos or even some of the candaos or the the dadaos. You can get rings on them. You get little jangly rings on the end of rope darts or within 3-section whips. So it is a feature of attaching rings to stuff in Chinese martial arts. So there's lots of theories of why these rings might exist. Now some people say they're for like looping like swords, like catching swords and being able to like disarm people. Personally, I think that would be unbelievably difficult. Like, yes, I guess if it's there and maybe on the off chance that you might catch them, but if you're trying to practice that and be very precise over catching swords at 100% of the time, I don't know how you might be able to do that. You'd have to be crazy skilled. Another reason is that they make a lot of noise, so maybe it's like for scaring away animals or even people, like distracting people if you're like shaking the thing and like confusing people. I think really if you're shaking the thing over here and trying to fight a person in front of you, really you want the sword in front of you, I think. But yeah, maybe the jangly noise can like put people off. I'm not sure about that. There's another theory that maybe they were used as like protection services. So if people were like as part of like moving caravans, moving money around, and maybe if you're at night, you're like jangling the thing, people know that this particular caravan is protected by like armed security. Maybe it's something like that. It's very hard to know. There doesn't seem to be any like clear reasons why these rings exist, but they do exist as part of a lot of Chinese weapons. Now another thing is it could be a more modern invention. It could be something that's on weapons much more recently, and it's just part of making more of a spectacle for demonstrations. Now demonstrating martial arts in Chinese culture is something that's gone back quite a long way. And also it's part of like promoting your club. Like you'd go out into the town or into like nearby towns and you do demonstrations, and that would get people to come and train with you. So maybe it's something like that where it just makes things a bit more spectacular. You're swinging this thing around and it's jangling about, and you know that it looks more impressive than say the other guy who hasn't got a jangly sword. So yeah, lots of different theories, lots of reasons why these might exist. If you've got your own theories, drop a comment on the box below. I'd really like to get your ideas on why these might exist. Looking at some of the other features of this broadsword, this actually has quite a different shape to a lot of broadswords. They tend to just be sort of thicker 2/3 of the way up and then go into one single point. This has got like a kind of curved end on the back of it, you know, quite a different shape. But if you start looking into histories of broadsword shapes in China, they do change dramatically. There's all kinds of different ones. Ones that are very thin, almost like the Japanese katana, and then you get ones like this with a huge thick end. Obviously you get loads of weight on the end, so So if you were sort of hacking and slashing, it's a real kind of meat cleaver style broadsword. This particular broadsword is made out of solid aluminium, so it makes it very, very light. If this was made out of steel, it would be really unwieldy. So because it is quite thick, you can see the thickness on the back of it there, so it's quite thick on the back. So you could argue it's almost like a real like dimensionally correct broadsword, but obviously because it's made out of aluminium, the weights come down quite a lot. Yeah, and it's all one piece, so it's all sort of one mould. You get like a grippy wrap on the handle, and you get 2 flags as well, which is also good for Chinese broadsword training. Also, in the end, there is an imprint of a tiger's head, and you get that on both sides, and that's printed in to the broadsword. Now, it's not sharp at all. People do ask if these sharp. You're not really going to find sharp aluminium stuff, which I think this is a benefit of these. You know, it's not really going to work. Now, some people who use these for sticking swords, especially the other aluminium broadswords without the rings, use these for sticking swords. If you're doing loads and loads of sticking swords with these, with another aluminium broadsword, they can kind of self-sharpen. So you've got to be a little bit careful with these. Over time, you know, you're rubbing the aluminium against each other, they will self-sharpen on the edge. So just take it easy and just be aware of it, and just run it over like a grinding stone if you do find that it's getting a little bit sharp. So what styles are going to use these? Who's going to use a broadsword like this? Well, you know, anyone that's doing broadsword training, and it's probably going to be the more sort of, you'd say, traditional styles, although I'll get in trouble for saying that, but say like the more southern styles, the styles that tend to come out quite early out of China and are dotted around the world. Say styles like the Laogars, the Hungars, like Mantis, things like that. If someone wants a broadsword that's just a little bit different, you know, that makes a bit more noise, looks a bit more spectacular in demonstrations, this would be a really good sword for you. Also, if you did want to practice sticking swords or some sort of combat, this is probably going to hold up better in terms of sparring, and not 100% sparring, you know, that would be crazy to do with this, but you know, some sort of like partner work, practice work, this is going to hold up much better than say the wooden ones, or you know, the flexible weapons. This is going to be a much better option for you. So yeah, anyone that's doing more traditional stuff, that really likes the idea of getting the rings and doing demos with that, but also someone that wants to do a little bit of light partner practice. So I'll just give you an idea of some of the dimensions. Now, I'll put all the dimensions on the website, so I'll give you a really good list of all the different dimensions of the sword. But, you know, while we're here, I'll just give you a few so you've got an idea of exactly what it is you're buying. So just looking at the length, this comes in at around 32 inches, 81 centimeters. Now the blade length on its own comes in just over 25 inches, 64 centimeters. But like I said, all the other dimensions I'll put on the website. And having a look at the weight, this weighs in about 775 grams, which is a really nice training weight for those traditional Kung Fu guys. So at Enso Martial Arts, we pride ourselves on having a wide range of weapons for all kinds of different martial arts, but we do have a specifically quite a good range of broadswords. So as well as the aluminium 9 ring broadsword, we also have the aluminium Chinese broadsword without rings, wooden broadswords in adult and junior size. We do the very popular Black Dragon broadsword, which has a semi-flexible sprung steel blade. We do the fully flexible Wushu broadsword, and we do the flexible double broadswords. But we also do 3-section staffs, straight swords, loads of long weapons. So check out the website if you want to know more about the range of Chinese weapons that we do here. So as promised at the beginning of the video, here is a short montage of people training with Chinese broadswords. much for watching. I hope it was useful. I hope you learned loads about the 9 Ring Broadsword we have for sale. If you like this video, remember to click the little icon, subscribe to this channel and get all the latest videos and updates from Enso Martial Arts. Thanks very much and I'll see you soon. Cheers!